good. All right, so let's try this. Let's take three. So Mining NL, so who are we? We are an industry membership-driven association, and we are the premier voice for Newfoundland and Labrador's mineral resources sectors. We were founded in 1994, and really our primary goal is to attract investment and to build strong relations throughout the entire value chain of the mining and mineral resources sector. So we certainly have a mandate focused around advocacy, public outreach, and promoting the province as a top-tier mining jurisdiction. Our membership comes from all phases of the value chain, from prospectors to explorers, operating mines, service and supply companies, associate members, as well as individual members. How do we support industry? There's various ways. We have industry committees. Two have been long-standing working committees for industry, one around workforce sustainability and labor market, the second one around occupational health and safety. And given the current climate with land management, we're looking to be creating a new advisory committee surrounding specific land management items which can potentially impact industry. We're involved with policy engagement, investment attractions, trade and promotions, advocacy and representation for the sector, and looking forward, certainly continuing to build upon strategic partnerships and collaboration for the sector. So what do those services look like? Based on the work that's been done and the work that we're going to be moving forward with, again, advocacy, we are the premier voice for the sector, public relations, stakeholder support. As we move forward, we're really looking to continue to build greater capacity within the sector, to have more networking and industry events, including potentially, if we can't move forward, to find synergies with existing industry events to be able to create events of our own. We support industry when it comes to growth and market expansion, international trade and investment, business opportunities, business-to-business opportunities. And one of the challenges facing industry as we continue to move forward with growth is around workforce sustainability. Just to focus on the investment attraction, trade and promotions piece a little bit more. For the last number of years, the Mining Industry Association, in collaboration with the federal and provincial government, has really worked together to showcase Newfoundland and Labrador, as well as with our Atlantic Canada partners, at various industry events, including the PDAC, as well as the AME Roundup in Vancouver. This is a collaborative initiative, and we work together with putting off strategic industry events and international activities to support industry. We also support prospector travel. We receive funding through the provincial government, through the Mineral Incentive Program to do so, and we support prospector travel to attend these events on an annual basis. So coming up at the PDAC in March 4th, actually, we'll be hosting once again Canada's Atlantic Edge event. So just a little note to kind of save the date. Another focus, so I'm kind of bringing up items in which industry has supported in the past, but also an emphasis for us moving forward, is to continue to support education and public engagement. For various reasons, but certainly this helps and supports, enables social license, which industry needs to be able to operate throughout the province. But also, with some of the workforce challenges pending with so many potential projects on the horizon, being able to support workforce sustainability is important to the sector. And that includes for us having a presence at other existing industry events throughout the province, as well as engagement with our Indigenous peoples in various communities across the province. Strategically, as an organization, as we move forward, so I've been in this role for about 6 months now, and as you can imagine, anybody new transitioning into a role, you have to address areas, the business operations, the administrative challenges with the position, as well as strategically looking forward as to how we better position the industry. And there's 3 areas that we really kind of pillars or strategic focus areas that we need to look at as we move forward as an industry association. And that first one is around financial sustainability and business growth. We have to look at our revenue streams and how we can better provide services and programs to support industry. That we're going to do that by enabling to look at us to diversify and strengthen partnerships, in particular with our industry and government partners, as well as other community groups, not-for-profits. And one of the big goals is to improve our communications and marketing. And communications is a two-way piece. It's not just us as an industry association being able to communicate better with industry, but likewise for industry being able to communicate with us. So one of the initiatives that we're looking to do is to make sure that we have the resources and tools that we need to better support industry. So coming hopefully in the months ahead, early in the new year, we'll be launching an online membership portal, which will help us to be able to enhance that communication and that connectivity. We're looking to create a hub, really, for the mining and mineral resources sector through this online portal. So it would allow members to be able to download an app to have on your phone. For instance, if you're an explorer and you're putting out your press releases, your corporate news releases, you can upload them and share them through our site so that you don't have to look to other lists across the country. And I won't name some of the distribution lists, but they're large and wide. But we become that one-stop hub, that repository of information which is happening in the province. So again, when I talk about being able to get those tools in place to better position the sector here in the province. So we're looking to integrate these smarter solutions for efficiency and growth. We want to look at simplifying membership for our members and then again looking at new membership-focused events. So kind of stay tuned as I continue to get my legs underneath me as we build a team to be able to move forward. But that happens really with your support and through partnerships. And we have a vast number of partnerships throughout the sector. We want to continue to grow and build more partnerships. So this is just a small list of some of the close partnerships that we've maintained over the last while, and we look to continue. Switching focus to why Newfoundland and Labrador. As a geologist, I don't get to talk much about the rocks these days, but I would be remiss if I didn't get to throw in at least one little slide here just to talk about the geodiversity of this province. We're world class, and we know it. We just need everybody else to also realize that. We have some of the oldest rocks on the planet here in Labrador, close to about 3.8 billion years old. But when you look at the province as a whole, we have an area of 450,000 square kilometers. It's enormous. We have a tremendous size here and a very small population in relative to that landmass, which means that we're underexplored. And these are tremendous opportunities for growth for our sector. So I have been referring to this sector as a frontier exploration district. We have a history of mineral resource stewardship and as well as generational mining expertise in the province, especially when you look at the first mine in the province in Tilt Cove, which is about 160 years ago. So we have a long history of mining here. And why do people, what's the search now? It's these critical minerals. Of course, there's a lot of exploration happening here in the province, but I can't talk about exploration without talking about critical minerals. This is a graphic from the Department of IET from the province, and I realize it's a little difficult to see, but essentially Newfoundland and Labrador has 34 of the critical minerals required. So I should backtrack and just say that around the world, jurisdictions around the world, Canada, the United States, Japan, Australia, Europe, publish annual critical minerals lists. And if you look at the European list, they have about 50 different critical minerals listed. Newfoundland and Labrador has 34 of those critical minerals. Canada has published a critical minerals list up until just several months ago. There were 31 minerals listed. Now there's 34 with the inclusion of high purity iron ore. I know the morning talks, there's been a lot of repetition, so I deliberately haven't included some of those details into this talk. But of course, with having this abundance of resources brings benefits to this province. And I just did want to speak to this briefly. I know this was mentioned by speakers this morning, including the Premier, but for the last number of years, Newfoundland and Labrador have placed on, and this is the world, this is the Fraser Institute's listing of top mining jurisdictions around the world. This past year, we placed in 9th, previously in 4th. So this means, and this is a core to what I really want to talk about, is this means that this is based on investment attractiveness index. And because of that, when you look at how this sector compares to other industries within this province, we are the second largest contributor to provincial GDP at 7.3%. We are, so it's the green that you see highlighted there. We're second to oil extraction, which is around 22.8%. And then third comes construction. So we really are a significant contributor to the province's economic and social benefits. Globally, mining and its positioning, when you look at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, and I've done a lot of work with this in a previous role that I held and worked a lot with UNESCO. But there's 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Mining meets 11 of those. And if you look at it from environmental sustainability, social sustainability, and economic sustainability, mining contributes to 11 of these really quite nicely. So when we look at what that path to responsible mining means for this province as we look forward, this is where I'm going to kind of go now to my scripted piece here. A pathway for us for responsible mining means the need for improved collaboration between policymakers, industry, as well as communities. It's a need for a clear set of standards and guidelines to support development to the highest standards, and the need to continue to attract investment. We are very much aware of the activity that's happening in this province, especially from an exploration perspective, requires investment, and we compete globally for investment and capital from around the world. So today we are at an interesting intersection of how we shape our industry's future by building trust through transparency. Earlier this week, which is actually a nice segue that there was a little mix-up with the talks at the beginning, I did give a talk to other industry leaders. It was an event hosted by Global Affairs Canada, where they hosted 27 heads of missions from around the world. And at Monday evening's event, Premier Fury spoke, and he delivered welcoming remarks to these ambassadors and diplomats that were there from around the world. And he spoke about Newfoundland and Labrador as being at the intersection of resources. And he shared that same message here this morning. And I do have some comments to make towards that. When you look at major economies around the world, they've introduced incentives to boost domestic critical mineral production. And this includes, if you look at in the United States, they've introduced Inflation Reduction Acts. In Europe, the European Commission's Critical Raw Materials Act. In Canada, we would like to see, and this is my message, we would like to see the renewal of the mineral exploration tax credit before the expiry this spring. This is really important to our explorers in Canada as well as here in the province. The mineral exploration tax credit adds another 15% credit on top of flow-through shares. Given the high level of exploration activity which is happening in this province, in particular with the gold exploration happening in central Newfoundland, as well as the heightened search for critical minerals, this tax credit will help enable and support continued exploration spending in this province. So to this point, I would be remiss if I didn't make these comments here today. Exploration drives growth. And in the absence of exploration, there can be no development. So access to land is crucial for our exploration sector. And furthermore, explorers as well as investors really need to be able to see a pathway to development. So impediments means investment flows elsewhere. Impediments means that capital flows to other jurisdictions and where we don't remain competitive. And it is imperative for us as a province to remain competitive when it comes to attracting capital and investment. So in conclusion, I guess I just pose one simple question. Will we shape the future, or will we be shaped by it? And my answer is very simple. The future means accessibility to land to explore Newfoundland and Labrador's expansive frontier regions. Exploration, innovation, leadership really need to converge and intersect as we continue to move forward. So I really look forward to leading this industry association and shaping the future together. So thank you for the opportunity to be here.